Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ruth on Demand. I am on my way to North Carolina, but before I go, I wanted to make sure that I get this information, this training to you. It's the exact same training I would be giving to my clients. So I love that. I absolutely love that. That's all I know how to do, actually, is give good information. So I'm going to shout out to North Carolina, to Chapel Hill and Durham, North Carolina. That's where I'm going to be hanging out. And so I would love to know who lives there and connect with me, DM me, send me a note, email me. I'd love to connect. Today, I want to talk about repurposing. And I love to repurpose. And I do this with my clients all the time because so many times we think we have to continue to reinvent, keep reinventing more content, more content, more content. And what I want to do is I want to be able to share with you how to repurpose 6 ways. There are many more, but 6 ways on how to repurpose your book for client leads. And I'm going to be, as we go along into these Ruth on Demands, I'm going to show you how to repurpose other kinds of things in your business. But this is about saving time. I've written many books on time management, productivity, gaining momentum. And this is how you do it. One of the best ways is to repurpose the content you already have. Now, for those of you who are, it doesn't matter where you are in your book writing journey. Let's say that you started writing a book years ago, you put it away, or 2 or 3 books years ago, but you have something written, okay? You can repurpose that. And if you have a book, let's say you don't have the book published yet, you maybe have 2, 3 chapters written, you can start repurposing. For those of you that have already written a book, then you can start repurposing that content. And one of the wonderful ways about repurposing content, once you have a book, especially if a book is sitting on a shelf and it's not doing anything for you, if it's not bringing in clients, if it's not getting you media, if it's not having podcast hosts contact you, if you're not getting sponsors with your expertise with your book for nonfiction books and memoir, then it's not doing anything for you. That's how you know. And so you can revive your book. You can revive your book. I'm going to be talking about some strategies this Friday in my bestseller blueprint workshop on how to revive a book that just kind of sits there right now, and some of the important keys to a blueprint for a best-selling book. All right. And you've got to understand, when I say bestseller, I'm not just talking about an Amazon bestseller, New York Times bestseller, USA Today, the Wall Street Journal. There are more kinds of bestsellers. For example, it is a best-selling book if it's bringing in clients. It is a best-selling book if it's bringing in sponsors. It is a best-selling book if you are getting media attention from it. Do you see what I'm saying? That's a best-selling book. That's a bestseller, depending on what you want, or speaking engagements. You know, the first time I wrote my book, Where Did the Time Go? And I didn't know anything more the day after I published it from the day it wasn't published yet. And yet, all of a sudden, I was looked upon as an expert, as a celebrity. And I was getting calls from media. I was getting calls for speaking. I remember my first call from my book was in Corpus Christi, Texas. I remember that like yesterday, and that was many, many yesterdays. So you want your book to do that. That's a best-selling book. And I'm going to be talking about what it takes, the 8 keys of the blueprint this Friday. And there will be a link for the bestseller blueprint workshop. So you'll be able to capture that and get in. I have 10 spots left. Once those 10 spots are taken, then I'm going to close it. Okay, so let's start with 6 ways to repurpose your book for client leads. Now remember, even if you haven't finished your book, Even if you've only written a couple of chapters, this is for you. Okay? Use a chapter as a lead generator ebook. That's a great way, in fact, to also revive your book. So you're not redoing your book, but you're taking a chapter that is relevant, that you've had some real play on. People have commented on it, and you create an ebook from that, and that becomes a lead generator. Now, an ebook lead generator, there are many parts to that. It's information, it's your chapter, and there are certain parts in there that you want to enroll your clients into your programs or one-on-one coaching, or if that's not what you want speaking opportunities, all of that needs to go in there, okay? And there are ways to do that. So, and in this ebook, add some different stories. Add more stories than what you have in your book, for example. Talk about some of your successful clients before they met you and worked with you. And I don't care if you're a financial planner, a lawyer, a landscape architect, a health practitioner, a business coach, a life coach. This all applies to you. All of it applies to you because all of you, in my humble opinion, needs to have at least one best-selling book to do the hard lifting for you if it's done properly. The second way to repurpose your book is to create a lead generator free gift. Now, you can have your ebook free. I would suggest you charging $7. It's not a lot of money, but it gives value. And there's a psychological principle that when things are free, for whatever reason, it's just not seen as valuable. And the person has already taken out their wallet to purchase something from you. Okay, so you want to make sure it's good. Even at $7, it's got to be good. And this, however, the second way to repurpose your book to get clients is to have a free gift. So you might take one chapter and give it as a free gift. You might this is very cool too, you might do a training with one of your chapters. You can pre-video it, right? You can pre-tape it. If you don't want to be on camera, you can do audio. But it's a free gift and it gives good information. That's what this is about. And you've already done the hard lifting with writing your book, with writing the chapter. You can even take not just chapter, you can take a subtopic of a chapter, or you can take two subtopics of a chapter. And you have two free gifts there, all right? A third way to repurpose is to identify 30 subtopics of your book. So every chapter should have many subtopics because otherwise it's too much for someone to read, okay? This is particularly true, obviously, in nonfiction books. And you can do it actually in memoir too if it's done well. It's nice. It doesn't stop the story. It enhances the story, or it can enhance the story. So you take 30 subtopics and you repurpose it into social media. You can do an audio, you can do a video, you can do a picture post with a few words there, caption. So many things you can do there. And there is one subtopic. And then you just have 30 of those in the course of a book. That's not a lot because in one chapter, think about it. In one chapter, you may have as many as 5 to 8 subchapters. Okay. So you have 4 chapters. Let's say you have 7 subtopics. 7 times 4 is 28. And then you add 2. And then something else I'm going to share with you. The momentum that you will end up feeling once you start repurposing your content, your mind, you're going to get what I call divinely gifted downloads. You're going to start to quickly think of, oh, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. You can think of a client and maybe something that as it was a challenge or something that was a challenge for you. And you share that as a story and then some ahas or insights, or you ask questions. So that you don't have to think, gosh, what am I going to do with my social media? It's such a hassle. There's something very fun that that I'm going to be starting in my business, and it has to do with helping you with your social media and doing video. And I'll be telling you more about it once my team and I figure out all the details. But it's exciting. It's exciting. It's exciting. All right. The fourth way to repurpose your book for client leads is to write a press release. No, they are not obsolete. They are not obsolete. So you want to write the press release inside the body of the email. You don't want to do that as an attachment because media won't open it because they're afraid that something is going to be encrypted on there and it's just too much of a hassle. So you're going to put the press release inside the body of the email. And what you want to remember is that take a subtopic of a chapter or take a chapter and write a press release around it. Now, with the media, it's really important that it doesn't sound self-serving. Quite honestly, the media doesn't care that you've written a book. They don't care. What they care about is something novel that's in the book. What they care about is maybe a concept or a thought looked upon with different eyes, your perception. What they're interested in is a captivating story. Oh, and by the way, all of this is in my book. That's the afterthought with media, because the media is looking for captivating hooks and ideas and stories. They are not going to promote your book. But in the process of writing the press release, in the process of getting on morning TV shows, your book is right there. Okay. And I will tell you, it's so much easier to get press when you have a book. So much easier to get press when you have a book. Okay. But you don't lead with the book. Okay. Hopefully that's clear. The fifth way to repurpose your book for client leads is to write what's called a one sheet. And so if you want to speak, you need a speaker's one sheet. If you want to be on media, you want a media one sheet. If you want to be a podcast guest, you want a podcast guesting one sheet. If you want a sponsor, now for sponsors, you have to have sponsor proposals. However, you can use this one sheet for sponsors as a query, if you will. It's not really a query. It's who you are. It's something to get them excited about. Now, what goes into a one sheet? 80% of what goes into a media one sheet for all of those is going to be the same. 20% is going to be different. That 20%, though, matters. That 20% makes it specific to who that person is who's reading it. Okay? So what goes into a media one sheet? Okay? You're going to need a headshot. Believe it or not, that word is head. So I'm going to put that. You need a headshot. What else do you need? You need a very well-written bio, short, and every word counts. What else are you going to need? You're going to need interview topics. Whether it's the media, podcast guesting, not so much sponsors, that changes a little bit, but that's what you want, okay? Even with I love to do even a one media book sheet that has some interview topics that they can ask me, okay, for an interview. Yes, it's a media, but sometimes I like to do it for organizations, okay? And then what else do you need? You need interview questions. Now, your topics and your questions must have a hook. They've got to be interesting. Now, how do you do that? Because it's so important. Look at magazines. Go to a bookstore. I love bookstores. If you can find a bookstore, that's awesome. Hopefully an independent bookstore. Or go to, I don't know where you live, but here in Los Angeles, we have magazines coming out of the wazoo at street corners, some of the street corners. Look at magazines and look at the topics. Those, look in the supermarket. Those are topic hooks. That's why we buy. I can't tell you how many magazines. How many magazines have you bought because of the topics, because of the hooks? And then you read the article and it's like 3 pages. You go, oh, okay. But you bought it. You're not going to do that. You're going to give good information. So if you need topics, go and look and see what health, if you're in the health industry, look at health magazines. What are their topics? Go online, check it out. What are the stories? What are the articles? All of them have it so that they're hooks, they're captivating. And then you can use them for interview topics. You change a little bit, or interview questions, and you change it depending on your expertise. Okay. And centered around your book topic. All right. And then the 6th way, one more thing, is that you want to have contact. You always have your contact info. How are they going to get a hold of you? All right. Now, if you have a large social following, then I would suggest you put that social media icon. I have, I think, 11,000 on Twitter. I would put that. I would put Facebook. I would put Instagram. All of those are important. And one of my Facebook's over 5,000. I'd probably put that there too, because what you want to do is you want them to know that you've been here a while, that you have a following, that what you have to say matters. That's why you have a following. You are a professional, an expert. You're looked upon with a book. You're looked upon as a celebrity, as an expert, as someone that is a thought leader that they can get information from, that's going to have really good sound bites. All right. And when you write in sound bites today, you write in sound bites. All right. So those are all the pieces that you need for a one sheet. Don't you love my handwriting? I remember when my dad was so complimentary. He adored me. But man, oh man, if he saw my handwriting, I heard about it. I definitely heard about it. And the 6th way to repurpose your book for client leads is to take a chapter topic or a chapter and write a speech, write a captivating speech. Now, what is it about writing a 3-minute speech, a 10-minute speech, a 20-minute speech, a 45 and an hour? You want to have that all to your disposal. I should really do a training on writing speeches, because the way that I have crafted this method over the years works so well that you basically can use the same signature speech, 80% of this signature speech all the time, with a few additions. Take this part out, add this part. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time you have a speaking opportunity. Okay, it works so well. So there are different types of speeches. There's the entertainment speech, there's the information speech, and then there's a combination of the information, entertainment speech. But in these speeches, there needs to be, even in the information one, and I'm gonna say a TEDx talk or a TED talk, for example. You need to have, and entertaining a little bit, of course, you need to have what's called a bridge. That bridge is what gets people to sign up to interview you, to sponsor you, to work with you. You've got to have that engagement bridge. Okay. So it doesn't matter what type of speech. I'm thinking of a client right now, and she's written 2 traditionally published books. She's amazing. And she speaks all over the world. And she was speaking, and people loved her speeches. But she wasn't enrolling clients. And she was getting more speeches, but not really getting paid a whole lot for them. And she really wanted to work with clients. And so by tweaking that, by creating that bridge, she was able to such a difference in her speech, just a little bit. And this is someone who is an expert times 100. She's been in the field for years. She knows her stuff. She's very successful with the clients that she has, and that one piece was missing, and now it's made a big difference. So speaking is important, and how you write the speech. But here's the deal: you don't have to reinvent it. Take a chapter that you've already written. Again, whether you've written the book, published it, or you're in the process of writing, but it doesn't matter where you are in the journey, or you started writing, you put it away, take it out. You have more expertise and more content than you will ever realize. And this is what makes your business turn faster, makes you happier. It saves you hours of time, whether it's social media or putting an ebook or putting a lead generator together, whether it's free or you charge $7 or $15 or you write a speech. All of this contributes to saving you hours and hours of time. And at the end of the day, isn't that what you want? You want to be able to use your expertise, make an impact, write your book, get it out there, have it heavy lift for you, for clients and the media and sponsors and celebrity. You want your book to do that. And so why not utilize it and repurpose it in so many ways? And this is just 6 ways. There are so many more. So I'm hoping that this has been helpful. And there will be a link. There is a link to sign up for the Bestseller Blueprint Workshop, and where I'm going to be talking about the 8 keys to a bestseller. And I will tell you, 99% of people that are writing a book or have already written a book do not know this. Do not know this. And that is why they're feeling overwhelmed writing a book. That's why they don't know what to do next. That's why their book hasn't done anything or not much. All right. So I hope to see you this Friday at the Bestseller Blueprint Workshop. And I'll see you next Tuesday on Ruth on Demand.